Well, welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. I'm going to read Grimm's Fairy Tales. The back of the book reads, The fairy tales of the Brother Grimm are among the best loved and most famous in world literature. This volume features more than 40 of their best-known fairy tales, lavishly illustrated with line drawings and color plates by Arthur Rackham. So, it says Grimm's Fairy Tales on the front. It said Illustrated Edition. What you're looking at right now is a picture of the cover. So just type in like Grimm's Fairy Tales, GR, but it'll be in the title. So got this from a Barnes and Nobles. So you can either see one of those in person or just order this online. I don't need it to. Again, strongly suggest anytime I read anything of a book that I'm mainly just trying to let you know that this is a book that would be a good idea for you to buy. Because, well, I at least liked it enough to bother buying it. Back has a picture what looks like a princess holding a frog. Pictures are good, but again, we have looks like a shepherdess with some geese. We'll go and read the contents real quick. There's 40 stories in here. The Frog King, King Thrushbeard, Tom Thumb, the Robber Bridegroom, Cinderella, Rumpelstiltskin, Rapunzel, the Straw, the Coal and the Bean, the Mouse, the Bird, and the Sausage, the Pack of Ragamuffins, the Cat and Mouse in Partnership, the Fox and the Horse, the Wolf and the 7 Little Kids, Little Red Riding Hood, the Foundling Bird, the Willow Wren and the Bear, Sweetheart Roland, Mother Holle, the White Snake, the Queen Bee, the Golden Goose, Jorinda and Jorindel, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, the shoes that were danced to pieces, the Old Man and his Grandson, the Valiant Little Tailor, the 3 Languages, Hansel and Gretel, the Golden Bird, the Raven, the King of the Golden Mountain, the Singing Soaring Lark, Clever Hans, the 7 Ravens, the Boy Who Did Not Fear, Clever Elise, the 4 Skillful Brothers, Clever Gretel, the Bremen Town Musicians, the Water of Life, Sleeping Beauty, Dr. Know-All, and the Goose Girl. Let me go grab that other book real quick. Hold on. I happen to have this other fairy tale book. It's a bit smaller. It also says Grimm's Fairy Tales, though it's got a picture of like a purple sky and a castle with a tiny winding road and a moon. A unique collection of renowned fairy tales by the famous brothers Grimm, including Hans and Gretel, Tom Thumb, the Elves, the Shoemaker, the Golden Goose, Rumpelstiltskin, and many more titles that maybe not so well known, but equally as entertaining and absorbing. From a Priory Classics. The table of contents of this book is Hans in Luck, the Traveling Musicians, the Golden Bird, the Fisherman and his Wife, Lunar running out of breath, just reading tables of contents, the Tom Tit and the Bear, the 12 Dancing Princesses, Rosebud, Tom Thumb, the Grateful Beast, Jorinda and Jorindel, the Waggish Musician, the Queen Bee, the Dog and the Sparrow, Frederick and Catherine, the 3 Children of Fortune, King Grizzlybeard, the Adventures of the Chanticleer and Parsley, Snowdrop, the Elves and the Shoemaker, the Turnip, Old Soton, the Lady and the Lion, the Jew and the Bush, the King of the Golden Mountain, the Golden Goose, Mrs. Fox, Hansel and Gretel, the Giant with 3 golden hairs, the Fog Prince, the Fox and the Horse, Rumpelstiltskin, the Goose Girl, Faithful John, the Blue Light, Ashputtel, the Young Giant, and the Tailor, the Crows and the Soldier. I think it's because I don't do pauses between saying these. That's why I'm running out of breath so much. Damn. The Crows and the Soldier, Peewit, Hans and his wife Gretel, Cherry, or the Frog Bride, Mother Hull, the Water of Life, Peter Gothard, the 4 Clever Brothers, and the Elfin Grove. I'm going to go put this book back over. I try to throw it lightly, and I'm just terrible at hand-eye coordination, apparently. Yay for me not being athletic in any way whatsoever. Then I have a book on juggling, and apparently I'm terrible playing with balls. Anyway, you also have a thing over here that says color plates, which, if that says 4 there, where does page 4 start? Yeah, so it's a... Oh, wow. So you actually have a guide that tells you where all the really amazing pictures are. And they even have captions under them. And this is the picture from the back cover. So, wow. There are some amazing pictures. Okay, and the words that are put here with the page numbers are the captions. But, yeah, there's a lot of very, well, old-style pictures that are done with a lot of detail. If I can, I'll try to include, the pictures from what I can find on Google Images in with the video. So you guys can see. At least I'll try to share as much as I can. Though no matter what, I strongly suggest buying these books just because I think they're cool. And, yeah. But, how about I read, since the cover of this, obviously Red Riding Hood. How about I read Red Riding Hood? What page is that on? 55. The rest of it we'll do in order. I just figure I'll do this one first because that's what the cover. Yeah, that's probably the most well known. I mean, other than that, there's Snow White, Cinderella. I mean, aside from that, Rumpelstiltskin. Trying to think what are the most well known ones that everybody would know. One thing's odd is they've been doing a lot of remakes lately, a lot of the old cartoon movies. It's interesting, but anime, it's terrible. Imagine they try to do a One Piece remake, but how are they gonna do that? I mean, CGI? It's don't get me wrong, I kind of would be awesome if there's a good live action, but it's just a lot of stuff in anime is how on earth do you actually do that in a live action? Beyond that, part of me is I could say oh, it's better to have the original Disney versions that we grew up with in the 90s, but then again, there are so many different versions we've heard about of the different stories that in the past it's yeah, that we definitely can't have those kinds of stories, for kids. Because damn. I mean, heck, there's some versions of the old Cinderella story where it was just where she brutally murders her stepmother and all that shit. Or there's one fairy tale that's literally just 2 kids went outside, an owl ate their face. The end. What is the moral of the story? Don't go out and touch grass? What is happening here? It's just, yeah, there's a lot of not so happy things that happen in some of these stories. Let's see, there's Hansel and Gretel, that's another one. And that's about all it. And of course, I still have those other books. I don't know if I'll ever return to reading like Edgar Allan Poe and all that. I at least would want to try to read more of this. But yeah, some of the old stories can be a little violent. But okay, why am I starting to fall asleep again? Great, so much for staying. It's been 10 minutes. I haven't gotten that off track, have I? I feel I'm being focused. Okay, Red Riding Hood. We just got done saying that. Oh. 55, huh? Okay. Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all by her grandmother, and there was nothing that she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else, so she was always called a Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Riding Hood, here is a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is ill and weak. They will do her good. Set out before it gets hot." You know, it kind of reminds me of that. There was, you guys remember Newgrounds.com? It's like an old Flash animation site back when Flash was a program used to make animations on the computer. Over time, computer programs change. I don't think anything supports Flash software anymore. But I remember back, it was shortly after the first Saw movie came out. There was an animation about Red Riding Hood. And it used the Saw theme part of the music, and it was very well done. Okay, we have a full-page picture here of Little Red Riding Hood talking to a wolf. And there's like trees and stuff in the background. Though that's not how trees are. Maybe that's how trees are in that part of the world? What country did this originally take place in? I mean, granted, I know stories can sometimes get passed on and on. But like, when was the first time the Little Red Riding Hood story was ever told? Who wrote it? Like, obviously Grimm, but like, in regard to that, but how much caffeine does it take to actually make me just be able to? Why is it's just getting increasingly hard for me to focus on anything. Just trying to say, like, hypothetically, what country is Little Red Riding Hood in during the course of this story? I'm saying the way the trees are drawn doesn't look like trees I'm really familiar with. But again, other part of the world. I just don't know if it's supposed to be England or a part of Germany. I'm not sure. And just as Little Red Riding Hood entered the wood, a wolf met her. Okay, yeah, that's what the picture is. It's a really good picture. Are going. Walk nicely and quietly, and do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle, and then your grandmother will get nothing. And when you get into her room, don't forget to say good morning, and don't peep into every corner before you do it. What? Okay, on the one hand, I'm like, I need to stay focused, and also, like, you know, granted, the only thing that's consistent about my channel is that I completely lack any sense of professionalism at all. But then again, you know, it's not like I ever plan to make a sin off this channel. Heck, I'm actively against it. But, you know, I should be able to just read the story, not stop for commentary and stuff. But don't peep into every corner before you do it. What is that about? Why would you? What is going on in the context of this story? Like, assuming the wolf didn't even exist, why are we telling her not to peep in every corner of the house? Like, what is going on with this? It's like, you will find Grandma's cocaine. No. offhand humor about me just being super tired. Though I do not advise drugs because drugs are addictive and stuff, I guess. At the same time, doctor, I could just try to ask the doctor, hey, can you prescribe medicinal cocaine or something? Like, why am I so tired? Just spacing out. I can't. It's not even that long of a story. I just want to go to bed. Just tired all the time. But yeah, I'm not trying to condone or encourage drugs. Like I said, PSA, drugs are bad. Not that I would know. Like I said, I've never smoked anything in my life. I've never done any kind of illegal drug. I've at least tried alcohol. But I'm adult, so. But main thing I'd say about that is just I'm not a drinker, and I can't even remember the last time I ever even had alcohol. Never even cared for it, just sort of tried it. But I'm just so tired. We'll say main advice I can get from watching other people get drunk is it's important to know your limit. I know one party I was at, this one dude was like 6.5 fucking feet tall, big fucking dude, football player. Dude's like fucking huge. He wound up duct taping 2 bottles of Jack Daniels, one to each, and like those are the big, like giant fucking bottles, and that's a strong alcohol. And he like had them open and just duct taped to both hands, and just walk around drinking that. But I'm like, I'm not gonna tell somebody else what to do. As me, I'm just like walking around with my 2-liter of Barks root beer, because But hey, it has the advantages to have somebody who doesn't drink at a party. That way, when the big guy who chose to do the stupid thing with the duct tape is having alcohol poisoning, people are able to drive him to a hospital. I like root beer. I also like Pepsi. This is the worst reading of a fairy tale ever. But seriously, what is going on in this? But yeah, just in general, my advice about alcohol is this: 1, don't drink and drive. 2, just make sure to know your limit. After all, too much will kill you, and well, it does impair people's judgment and your ability to drive or walk or stuff. So, main point would just be you're probably better off not drinking at all, but if you do, just do so responsibly. It's like everything's starting to devolve into a PSA lately. It's like, oh, what happens when Lunar becomes sleepy? Apparently Lunar just sort of starts swaying side to side in his chair, struggling to keep his eyes open. Starts just becoming one of those, that old thing, Dare, the D-A-R-E, I don't know, it's drugs, something. It's supposed to be some sort of educational thing to get. I remember it was in elementary school, with grades 3, 4, and 5. How old was I then? I don't. Fuck. Um, I'm not sure. I don't think we hit puberty by then, did we? Um, you're supposed to remember these things. I would assume I was like 8, 9, and 10 years old. Not sure. I don't. Why? I just really tired. I should sleep more. Why does it that if I'm laying down I can't sleep? But if I try to do something, I don't know. I think I've just been feeling a little bit off these past few weeks. I've just been kind of tired. Just been feeling really shitty in more ways than one. I'll try to read the story. That's like hell. I remember when I tried doing the unrehearsed creepypasta narrations, especially the first couple. I couldn't even just focus on reading the damn story. I kept but at least I was more energetic with those. I'm pretty sure. This is like I don't even have enough energy to be awake enough to be spacing out. Just sort of like I don't know how to describe. I don't know. I guess the best way to describe it is I kind of feel a general feeling of confusion and just inability to really think at the moment. Really, the best way to describe it is like right now. I'll probably feel better if I actually get some better, proper sleep or something. It's just the best way to describe it is I feel like whatever cognitive processes that my brain is supposed to be able to fucking do, I don't think the gears are working anymore. So, maybe I'm just not drinking enough water. I just... Honestly, I feel like if I were driving right now, I think if I were to go somewhere and need to be able to drive somewhere, I think an actual fucking drunk person would be better at driving than me. I don't know. It's just... I agree, I understand. I'm not as intelligent as I was when I was younger. Heck, I remember being in school. Granted, I had a lot of shit I was going through at that point. A lot of people were assholes. But I still did good at school. I even had a job at the time, too. I had 4.0, graduate of honors, straight A's, pretty much 100% in every single class. I was doing classes like calculus and chemistry and physics. But I don't remember how to do any of that. I don't think I can relearn it. you want any skill you don't use, you tend to forget, and I'm just... That's even if I could focus. Granted, no matter over time, it feels like my ability to focus is just kind of shit, but like, the past couple weeks have been an issue, but the past couple days, it's just... I feel like I don't know how to describe this. Like I said, it just feels... It just feels like I can't focus at all, and I feel very confused. Like, I feel like if somebody were actually actively talking to me right this moment, I think I would have trouble actually following what they're saying and even understanding what the conversation's about. I probably just need to sleep better. I don't know, maybe there's some sort of supplement at Walmart or something I can look into. At least be a band-aid on. If anything, like I said, this should be very temporary. Just really tired. This is a great start to this playlist. Like, let's go make a new playlist with this. I just can't. This has got to be really like one, if anyone's still there, why are you still listening? I mean, I appreciate you're there, but at this point, we're just listening to Lunar D8 have the motivation to keep reading a book that he's read like 2 paragraphs of. It's like I just don't have any energy. I'm just exhausted. Hell, I actually feel a bit dizzy. It's good thing I'm fucking sitting down. How much sleep is a person supposed to get per day? Granted, at least... I think I'm doing okay. I mean, I've slept less in the past. Particularly during a job where I was doing electrostatic painting. There were times I went days without sleeping at all. And like I said, I technically have tonight off, and I had last night off. It'll be in the weekend, and didn't have to do overtime. So you think I'd have to be full of energy. Then again, I'll tell you this. My job... Well, I'm not sure how long I'll stay there, just because I'm sure I'm bound to fuck something up. You know, man, look, if I'm not an expert. The only thing I'm an expert at is I'm an expert at being a failure. So, it's honestly a miracle and surprising that I haven't already fucked up and got myself fired in some way already. But I'm sure that's bound to eventually change. Besides, with the quotas and stuff they constantly push, it's like, I at least do my best, but it's like, I can't do as much as they want me to. Then again, just about everybody else in the building feels the same way. There's such a high turnover rate. And here lately, even more people are quitting, so... Plus, I mean, I expect the economy to get a little worse, especially in regard to what I do for a living, so... Yeah. We're like listening to the sound of Lunar D8 struggling not to have his face fall into the laptop. But yeah, I mean, I expect in a full couple years, I don't even think the company's going to exist in the same manner anymore. If anything, they might be able to keep up a name. They'd probably wind up selling a lot of stock to another company because a lot of things, like I said, I know this about a month ago or so, they were basically saying that we weren't going to get much more raises. So, good thing inflation's not real, right? I can't really complain though. It pays okay. It's actually one of the best paying jobs I've had in my life. Albeit I'm not rich or anything, but hey, I can afford to pay rent and everything, and I'm grateful for that. Though, like I said, I figure it's only a matter of time. Either I fuck up bad enough that I don't have the job anymore, or if my body just gives out because my knees, back, and shoulders hurt all the time for what I do. Or just, the company itself has financial issues or the economy. But if that happens, I'll just have to find something else. But just so tired. Like I said, I at least try to do what I can with the gym. Try to lift weights, but I'm not building any muscle. Heck, a lot of times I have to hold off on working out too much because otherwise, I won't be able to do my job. I do physical manual labor, and if I lift too much, then, well, my arms will be all shaky, and then I won't be able to do my job because my job requires me to move things in a stable manner to where if my arms are shaking, that would cause problems with the quality of the part. And I'm expected to move. So obviously if I'm feeling a bit... And you're like, oh, how are you able to do this job if you're the way you are at the moment? The answer is copious amounts of Tylenol and caffeine. I just sort of force myself to focus. You're like, well, why don't you just force yourself to focus on the fucking book? And the answer is because I do this channel so I can just talk about whatever and just be myself. Because, it's nice to not have to constantly just function and be a productive member of society at all times. Doing a job and actually doing it quickly and being focused on it, that takes a lot of effort. And also it takes a lot of effort not to get pissed off at people when you're angry at them. And to just keep working even though you just don't feel like being there. It's kind of like you have a conversation with people. One, you have to pretend you're not in any sort of pain in any way, whether physical or emotional. Plus, you're having to actually, as an introvert, it's not, granted I do have anxiety when I talk to people, but I'm very good at hiding that. And I do enjoy talking to people, just, again, bad experiences, so kind of anxious when I do talk to anybody, but at the same time, I'm very good at hiding that I don't feel the best. It's like, you're not hiding it very well right now. That's the point, because it takes a lot of effort to do that. And because in public and society, you have to do that. Same at work, you have to do your job a certain way, you have to behave a certain way. Heck, just talking about lewd stuff. You can't just go out in public and be like, hey, have you heard about tentacle hentai and stuff like that? Like, no, you can't have, you have to have, conversation that's socially acceptable. And I don't know if you guys have listened to any, like, the Daniel Stern Bullet Train video. It takes... What the fuck is that noise? Are there people blowing up fireworks outside? It's not even that dark yet. If you're gonna do that, wait till you can see it better. Yeah, that's fireworks. I mean, that's cool and all, but I just figured you'd wait till it's darker. I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. It's a good thing I've never smoked weed or anything, because fuck. I could only imagine. But yeah, apparently Lunar D8 becomes sleepy. He starts talking about, I don't know, don't do drugs, people, and oh, movie I watched, or just general. It's almost like I start talking about fucking politics and shit. It's like, oh, Lunar, we don't want you to talk about politics. Here, drink this Pepsi. Here, have a taco. It's like you're tired and sleepy. And now you're going to talk about Goku. And Kamehamehas and stuff. I don't... I don't know if this would... And people are like, why are you uploading the video still? I'm like, it's... I don't know. But, I mean... Yeah. But yeah, I just can't... I can't seem to be focused. That's like, I feel like I'm probably behaving like somebody would if they were fucking stoned. And again, I don't really have a frame of reference to that because I've never smoked weed, never smoked anything. But I'll say this: I've dated women that have smoked weed, but also I've dated women that would just smoke cigarettes. I'll say this: yeah, you can taste it in the person's mouth. You can taste it when you kiss them. Heck, you can taste it when you bite their neck. You can smell it. And let's be clear, I'm somebody who likes nice smelling things. I take 15 showers a week. I wear cologne. Heck, on a given day, I'll wear 2 different types of deodorant and some cologne. Now, granted, I'll wear cheaper cologne to work. But, granted, there are times where I would hang out with people when I was younger. I'd be a little bit of a smell. But, that's kind of hard to avoid. If I had to walk 2 fucking miles in 90-degree weather with no clouds and sun overhead to come see you, of course I'm going to have a little bit of smell. I just walked for, what is 90 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? I don't remember. I would say, oh, what if the people listening to this aren't familiar with Fahrenheit and they just know Celsius? 1, I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to use both. 2, computers exist. 3, this is assuming that anyone is even listening to you at all. Even if they somehow came across the video and chose to listen to it, they would have had to sit there for 40 minutes listening to some guy struggling to not fall out of his chair and pass out. Then again, maybe I'm just lethargic because I'm a fucking fat ass. I'm always out of fucking breath. And granted, like I said, my heart's fine, but I tend to have chest pains a lot. I'm always out of breath, but my lungs are fine. I mean, there's Granted, there's a couple granulomas inside my lung, basically a couple spots of the lung turned slightly to calcium, but apparently that's fine. Heck, the funny thing is this, for all the bacon and shit I've eaten through the course of my life, my cholesterol's fine. My cholesterol's perfect. Though, even though I don't seem to have any plaque in my veins, there's a few parts where, an x-ray is like, a few of your veins are starting to have calcium deposits. But your body should be able to reabsorb that back out of that. Some small hernias, but not bad enough to actually be a major issue or anything that needs surgery. Just basically, as long as I don't deadlift anything too heavy, I shouldn't. It just means I can't, work on deadlift at the gym. Granted, I'll still use a deadlift, like just the bar and a 45-pound dumbbell on each side, so just 135 pounds. So I can at least do that without any concern of injury. At least it's one good thing of the gym. I can just lift whatever, and I don't have to re-rack, rechange the little weight machine, because whatever I can lift, the next person can definitely lift. Because I know anybody else there is going to be stronger than me, no matter who they are. It could be a little old lady. She'll be able to lift twice as much as me. Hell, on the fucking bench press, I got the bar and then 2 of the 45s on each side. Granted, I can only do, I think I did 3 reps. But it's just, even then, that was just barely. And even then, when I do that, like, if I try to do it again that same week, I can't even do 1 rep of that. And it's like I have to go back to just 1. I have to call it a fucking barbell, like I'm hanging fucking barbells off of a bench press bell. What? It's just a bar. Fucking hell. I'm just... really tired. I'm also still dreading late October. But hey, at least it's not going to be as bad as what I was originally expecting. So, that's better. But it's still going to suck. And of course, still is something I'm a bit scared, anxious of. But, like I said, at least it's still better than the alternatives. So that's good. But it's still going to be a really shitty situation to have to deal with. And it's going to hurt a lot. And I don't like pain. And that's going to hurt. But hey, it's July, so August, September, October. Technically, since it's 22nd, it's going to be a few days past it, so technically slightly less than 3 months till I have to do that. Don't want to, though. But, like I said, it's better than the alternatives, and at least it's better than what I was originally expecting to have to do. Rather avoid it completely. But that's not an option. So I don't have a choice. I can't focus. I don't. Granted, it's like I picked a great time to start trying to read books and stuff. It's like, oh, I can't focus. Let's try to read books, and we see how that's gone in the previous playlist. I just... Well, at least anyone ever wants to hear me talk about religious stuff or politics or random, I guess, drug PSAs and stupid random bullshit. Just... I don't know. It's a mix of tired and not pressured. Because that's, like I said, there's no pressure right now. Like, here's the thing. I can just sit here. Like, it's not like I'm trying to make money off this. It's like, oh no, I'll lose my sponsors and shit. It's just some dude rambling on the computer. You know, I don't gain anything from this other than just the fact that I just like rambling at the computer and potential just saying hi to random people on the internet saying, hi, how are you? Was there a part of the video you found funny? And if anything, if someone stops by and they're like commenting, I'll probably try to mention them. Hey, I know I probably wasn't entirely there for this video, especially these past few. Heck, there's somebody commented on a video a couple days, hours ago or something, and I suggested Resident Evil 7 Part 1. I was definitely a lot more energetic for that. I think I was drinking Red Bull. But, I don't know. And it's like, I shouldn't really blame my job. I've worked worse jobs. I've worked jobs that worked a lot harder hours. In the end of the day, it's generally it. Wow, that was a loud firework. Holy shit. How much did that even cost? Great. What the fuck was I talking about? Right, work. Like I said, all in all, my job isn't bad. And it pays okay. It was still a bit agitating that we didn't get a raise this year. But it's understandable with the economy. Honestly, I expect after a few years, I think my job might actually shut down. I don't think they're doing very well financially. Then again, I think that's a common thing. I think the economy's affecting a lot of businesses. And honestly, I have no idea what I would do next. But I'd find something. I mean, it's not like I haven't... It's not like I have any loyalty or anything to this job. It's just it pays my bills. You know, pays my rent. Just... It's just... End of the day, it's not necessarily the job so much as it's me. Like, I'm doing my job, my knees, my back, particularly like my lower spinal cord and my rotator cuffs, my arms. But, Graham, hell, there's fucking general muscle pain everywhere when it comes to that shit, but part of me is worried like parts of my tendon or ligament might be tearing in my knee or something just because it hurts so fucking much doing my job. So at the end of the day, I mean, I probably shouldn't blame my job for my body being defective and not working well enough to be able to do the job. But then again, like I said, I'm not the only one who feels that way. I mean, we have trouble keeping any employees. Heck, for new employees, we have 90% turnover rate. Meaning which means every time we hire a new person, there is an over 90% chance that they will have quit before their first year. Nobody likes the job. And like I said, it'd be nice if we could listen to music. Just have some Metallica or something playing. That'd be cool. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that really makes my job difficult for me is that I am physically and emotionally fucked up, and I am struggling with a lot of things. Some of them physical, some of them emotional, some of them psychological. And I think I'm doing okay. But it's just... fuck. Hell, I did a 14-hour video a year and a half ago. Wasn't able to upload to YouTube. Just because YouTube won't allow a video over 12 hours from me. Funny thing is this, I have like 2,500 videos currently on YouTube. Would probably have like a couple dozen more beyond that, but there's some videos YouTube wanted me to take down. And then of course, I think I've made at least a few hundred videos that I never even uploaded at all, because I wound up getting too personal or too emotional, and so I just decided not to upload the video. As far as that one 14-hour video, like, it's granted there sometimes I did a little bit laugh/crying at the same time. Almost like that fucking Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie sort of thing. But at least the times I did it in videos I kept, like the Paradox video or the professional reading skill video, you know, at least there was a little bit of lightheartedness to it. It wasn't scary to listen to. At least, like I said, the professional reading skill video or the Paradox video. Because like I said, there's a video like just professional reading skill where, you know, and I even like was reacting to my own reaction, which, yeah, you guys thought I was cringe before. But yeah, I mean, I was crying/laughing in reaction to a video game thing, because the thing that was happening in the video game was very sad. So I reacted to it. After all, that's one good thing about video games and stuff, whether you're recording it or not. I'm able to react to stuff freely, because like I said, IRL, I don't cry in front of people. Hell, the only times people have actually seen me cry would be if I was in physical pain, you know, got injured, or somebody died. But in general, I tend to not cry in front of people. But I don't know. Sometimes it's, I mean, but I'll probably do that about every day. But at least I do it in private. And it's not like I tell people IRL. Hell, I've had depression my entire life. I have never told a single girlfriend. Heck, I was even married at one point. I have never told a single partner about feeling depressed or about certain other thoughts in regard to depression and stuff. But, you know, do have those feelings. I just don't talk about them to people. I just... But hey, maybe one, in general, just helps to be able to talk about stuff here, as I've literally moved slightly back in my chair and almost sort of felt like fucking whiplash. Like this sort of feeling you're in a fucking like roller coaster or something, and you're just like, you're moving and just like momentum wants to keep going. Like I said, right now the best way I can really describe just my mental function right now is I just feel like I can't focus on anything, and I just feel very confused. Everyone's like, just go to sleep. I'm like, I will. It's not going to be a long story, I don't think. I'm making it longer by not fucking doing anything. Well, I said, that 14-hour video, I wound up crying and screaming and laughing for hours and hours to the point where I was laughing while crying at yelling/screaming volumes. And I was doing it for hours and hours and hours on end. Hell, my face is already drenched. But apparently you can't do that for too long, because human bodies don't like that shit. Because after enough hours of doing that, I just sort of just started puking everywhere. Granted, that was like a year and a half ago. Just saying it's nice to talk about things, and it might not fix anything or help anything, but it helps me feel better, and it's kind of like listening to nightcore music in the dark while crying. Like, it's not actually fixing anything, but it does release endorphins. It makes me feel a little better, and it helps me to be able to, be a productive member of society and function emotionally. I mean, heck, if I didn't do people could say, oh, you're not accomplishing anything by crying, and let's be clear. Regardless of whether or not other people would feel that I'm justified in feeling upset over things, I imagine most people would just say, stop being a bitch. Stuff in the past happened so long ago, and a lot of stuff doesn't matter, whether it's stuff that's happening nowadays or stuff that's happened over the course of years, whether it's stuff that's stuck with you for years or even decades, or even stuff that's happening recently. It's like, yeah, you should just turn your depression off. Just don't have the stuff get to you. It's not a big deal. You have so much to be grateful for. Heck, you live in an era with anime and Pepsi and air conditioning. The past was fucking shitty. And you live in this era with all this awesome shit. And that's awesome. And there's so many things to be grateful for. And that's true, and I'm grateful for everything. I appreciate my life. Despite thinking about certain things, I've never attempted to do anything. Even if it's been a consistent thought. But that's more so that's a stress reaction. That's just me just feeling overwhelmed about stuff. But the biggest thing is that's why you find other things to help you, because I do value my life. I do care about my life and do want to actually... But of course, you have to do... and like I said, it's definitely good to try to... If you have something going on in your life that sucks, if there's a way to fix it, you should try to do that. But it is important to express your thoughts and feelings. As long as you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, then that's good. And definitely it's good to try to work on things or learn things or improve yourself, learn new skills, find hobbies. And like I said, going to the gym is good and healthy for you. Just gotta be careful. Don't want to get injured. I'm just tired. Just feel really out of it. I just don't have any energy. I feel like I just want to go to bed and lay there, sleep, and then it'd be better just to wake up and then just keep laying there until I fall back asleep again. I said, talking about your feelings can help, and so can crying. But it doesn't make you a bad person to have depression or feel upset about things or to be hurt from, bad things occurring. You shouldn't blame yourself for things you have no control over. Granted, like I said, if there are things you do have control over, you should do what you can to try to make things better. But at the same time, some things would be in a gradual process, and some things may seem impossible just to see that. I'll still say you should keep trying, but don't beat yourself up if you're failing. Just keep trying and try to learn from it and find a way. I'm going to drink some water. The fuck? I was only planning to take a sip and just drank a little bit of water, and I just wanted more. I started chugging a fucking jug of water. Granted, I didn't chug a whole fucking jug of water. I mean, it was honestly probably only the equivalent of like a glass of water at most. I just drank, but I just felt like I couldn't get enough. I feel like I'm burning the fuck up. I'm gonna turn the air conditioner up or something. But I thought I already did. How sensation, kind of like little pinpricks everywhere. I'm trying to think what to best describe that feeling. I don't know. I guess the best way to describe it is, that feeling like, say, an ant's crawling on your arm? Just that sort of sensation. I don't know. I just feel shitty. And like I said, at work, I can at least force myself to, just because, granted, I feel miserable doing it, but same way, like, it's just I can force myself to focus and move and do a job and function correctly. And no, granted, there are sometimes, and I'm pretty sure man just noticed a couple times where my arm will just start shaking. Because there are times when I have to write stuff down and just it's not legible at all. Like, especially when it comes to fine motor movements, it's like I'll try to write and occasionally it'll be like all over the fucking place. Let's say we can test that right now, but I don't think I have a pen anywhere near me. Then again, like I said, I'm just bitching. But hey, that's really the worst thing I'm ever going to do. It's just annoy everybody by talking about my feelings or just whatever random bullshit's on my mind. That's the whole point of this channel. Granted, I enjoy Let's Plays. I like Let's Plays. I've watched Let's Plays since YouTube began. I remember watching Let's Plays on YouTube before people knew what a YouTube was. Back when people thought YouTube was this thing that in a matter of months was going to cease to exist. That was a time before Markiplier had even uploaded his first video. Actually, it was probably close to a decade before that, if I remember right. I'm talking about YouTube as if like Markiplier is Jesus. Like before Markiplier. It's like the YouTube calendar. Before Markiplier and after Markiplier. But Markiplier's like probably be uncomfortable with me talking about, but then again, how would he ever know? But hey, if you do this, like, you're awesome. I enjoyed the Markiplier in Space movie. It was awesome. Thought it was really cool. Like I said, he's done videos where he like ate Takis and Sour Patch Kids and stuff, and it's hilarious. Oh, just really fucking tired. It's been over an hour. You know what? How long is the story? It's not even. It's like 2 pages long. It's 2 pages. How? Just like, what the fuck? But it's just. The main thing is this. I can talk uncensored here for the most part. Granted, I know there's still a few topics I need to stay away from because YouTube cares about stuff. And I think I'm following that well enough as I repeatedly start having to lean forward and at this rate I'm gonna break my fucking keyboard and gonna fall into it. Fuck. This is but like I said, oh no, I can't complain. Like I said, my health really isn't all that bad. I just probably should sleep more. I'm probably just not getting something in nutrition that my body probably needs. Oh. I am seeing doctors and trying to figure out like why. I don't know, I just feel tired and stressed and hard to focus. But at least, like I said, with this, like the video or games, there's no big issue. Like, heck, even if it's a game I'm fucking yelling and cussing at, like Splash or Super Meat Boy, I'm still having fun. 2, it's fine, because there's no, like, oh, I have to do a certain thing, and it has to be good, it has to be that. No. I can fucking just sit here, more than half asleep, rambling about whatever random bullshit there is. And I also guarantee this. No matter what political, religious, or anything affiliation you are, or whatever your opinion is on anything, there is some opinion I have that will probably make you hate me. But that's just me. That's just who I am. I'm not compromising on that. I'm not changing shit. I am who I am, and, you know, I have every idea I have a very well thought out, explanation in regard to why I choose. Like, I don't think it's wrong for people to be gay. I'm bi. And a lot of people would say, oh, you can't be Christian if you think that. Well, I disagree with you. So, I've spent many hours just considering stuff with that, with the scriptures and with society and all that. But yeah, I don't see anything morally wrong with people if they're wanting to be with a guy or a girl or whatever. But there's a lot of people who disagree with that. But then there's people that also disagree whether or not you should eat bacon. Heck, there are preachers who tell me I'm going to burn in hell because I don't give enough money to the church. It's like, yeah, I need to give more money to the church, huh? No thank you. So I'll say this, I haven't paid tithes in years. Or offerings. Because I haven't really attended the church just because I'll still read on my own, but because there have been issues with the churches too. Just the way people are with that stuff. So, but main thing is I believe in God, but I don't base what I do off of the Bible. I use reason, logic, kindness, and compassion. I think it through logically about the pros and cons of each situation. I think about the context of the situation. I think about what is the motivation for people to do things. Does it hurt anyone? Like I said, I try to use logic, reason, compassion, kindness as far as what decisions I make in life. And I'll say this. I do regard the Bible as an accurate telling of history. That being said, there is a lot of stuff that happens that's, there's a lot of details left out. But it's just, the thing is this. It's not like anybody will be willing to have a conversation at this fucking pace, let alone just at my normal speaking pace. Just to be able to talk calmly. Not trying to because every time you try to talk to somebody about whether it's something political or religious or whatever, they don't care about your viewpoint. They don't care about your reasoning. They don't care about why anything. They just feel they're right 100%, and that their absolute goal is to correct you, and that it's their job to force you to agree with them. I'm like, that just goes to basically say that my thoughts and feelings are meaningless, and that I'm not allowed to have an opinion. It's I'm allowed to have an opinion, but only if it agrees with you, huh? It's can we not have a different point of view, talk to each other, and still respect each other? Talk to me not like you're trying to win a competition or trying to force your view on me or force me to agree with you. But just talk to me and try to at least understand where I'm coming from. At least everyone treats shit like it's so fucking combative. I'm just want to have a normal conversation. Instead, it's just, heck, some people just resort to yelling or name calling, and heck, they're not even having the patience just to force their own opinion on me. They're just being outright assholes. It's that's not how you have a conversation. It's I don't know. Shouldn't people, even if they have radically different viewpoints, be able to just talk to each other? And even if you have no intention of agreeing with the other person, you at least gain a better understanding of where they come from, and you can understand them more. And heck, if you want to, you have more ammunition to use to argue against future people or whatever. But the main point is this: it doesn't have to be a fucking competition. It's not like a discussion of, personal beliefs. It's a fucking war. It's just two people trying to have a conversation about what they think is right and why. Hell, there's nothing in my life where I'm, trying to hurt anyone. So, granted, probably be healthy if I stopped drinking. I was about to say stop drinking, baking, and eating Pepsi. But I stopped myself and realized I'm putting the words in the wrong spot. Just so hard to be awake, it seems. I don't know. But like I said, I'm at least able to force myself to work, or just... It takes a lot of effort to do. I'm like, why don't you just force yourself? The main point of the chat is that so I can just do this. Where I can talk at a slow, completely disjointed fucking pace. Hell, just being able to express myself this way in this stupid, nonsensical way. If anything, you just look at it in a way of it's recharging me. Because I don't have to force myself to order my speech in a certain way to be coherent and concise. I can just say whatever without really thinking too much on it. Granted, there's probably a lot of people out there that'll be talk in regard to the talking so fast, but they're not saying shit. Just constant word salad with them. Hell, what was it? Idiocracy, the movie. Terry Crews played a president, and his speech, he organized it off after an evangelical preacher, and he was saying it's more so is that the man's mannerisms and how he gave his evangelical speech. It was powerful and charismatic, and you couldn't help but feel that you had to agree with him, that it had to be right. But in all actuality, he was saying nothing. Then again, whether a person's good or bad, heck, I'd say usually bad people have an easier time of doing it. Of just talking in a way that stirs people up. That kind of charisma is, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. It doesn't even matter if you're a good or bad person. You can get people to agree with you. It's at that point, it's not about expressing feelings and emotions. At that point, it's just fucking manipulation. I don't know. Me personally, it pisses me off. If somebody tries to threaten me into obedience, or tries to coerce me, or shit like that. Or if I feel like I'm being lied to, or if I feel like I'm being manipulated, that shit pisses me the fuck off. Don't get me wrong, I certainly wouldn't mind hearing a tiny bit of flattery from time to time. But I guess it depends on motivation. If it was just a tiny bit of trying to make someone feel better, then that's fine. At least it's got good intentions. But if somebody's outright lying to you because they want to trick you or hurt you or manipulate you or find some way to use you like you're a damn tool, Well, I don't think anybody would feel happy about that. I'm just so tired. I'm just fuck. I don't know. Well, I said, it's kind of like I said, that the crying and the dark, listen to nightcore music on my own. It's just, with that, like I said, release endorphins and advance those emotions. Because no matter what, I'll be honest, I can't just ignore that. Those feelings are very strong, and they're there. And if I were to just force myself not to do that, I wouldn't be able to function out there in society. And I'll say this, whether you're and obviously if like anyone feels the way I do about things, I strongly suggest you see a doctor or a therapist, but I'll say this, it doesn't make you a bad person if you have like depression and stuff, and it's not something that's a simple, easy fix. A lot of times it might be something that might require you, like even if it's crying every day, to be like just sort of maintenance for you to, take care of yourself, But yeah, it helps me to function out there because let's be clear, if I didn't do the crying on my own, then eventually I would just start crying out there in public. Eventually it would just come out, and eventually I would just start crying. Granted, all in all, things have turned out okay, and for the most part, there's a lot of things that happened that could have been so much worse, and I am grateful that they turned out okay. I just feel a certain way, and that's just the way I do. So, me getting upset at myself or feeling overly down, even though really I have no reason or right to feel that way. And like I said, stuff, people would say like, oh, it's like, you shouldn't be all that bothered by stuff of the past and all that, but it's like, regardless of whether or not other people feel my emotions are valid or not, doesn't change the fact that I have taken a significant amount of psychological damage from it. So, even though most people wouldn't acknowledge the injury is real, it feels real. It feels real to me. And I'm just doing my best, okay? Like I said, maybe other people might be able to relate to this. Sometimes when I talk about things, but again, this has been an hour and a half of me doing and saying nothing. What motivation would anyone have to sit there and listen to me? Not even saying anything. Just a person who's mostly asleep that basically, when I get done recording this, I'm going to set it to upload. I'm going to set the computer on this chair, and I'm going to, because like I said, I'm sitting in a metal folding chair in my bedroom, and I got my laptop on top of another metal folding chair on top of my bed. Yes, I'm sitting in front of my bed, and I'm sitting in a metal folding chair. And I have another metal folding chair on top of my bed. And on top of the metal folding chair is a laptop. No, I refuse to buy a desk. Or a gaming chair. But yeah, maybe other people can relate. But yeah, it's just... it helps me feel better. Helps me to function. And to be able to... just be able to walk around out there with a smile on my face and be all focused and as high of an energy as I can, as I am swinging back and forth in my chair. Drink some more water. But I know I made at least a few hundred videos. I just never even uploaded it all. And at least a couple dozen that I had to delete because YouTube was like, no, get rid of this. I'm like, okay. So fucking tired. But it just... I don't know. I just feel out of it. I can't focus. I feel tired. I feel distracted. I feel confused. I just kind of feel like I'm not all the way here at the moment. I just feel crappy. I just probably need to sleep more. Okay, let's finish the story. Sorry for the nothing. Okay, where was I? I will take great care, said Little Red Riding Hood to her mother, and gave her hand on it. The grandmother lived out in the wood half a league. How far is a league from the village? And just as Little Red Riding Hood entered the wood, a wolf met her. Red Riding Hood did not know what a wicked creature he was, and he was not at all afraid of him. Good day, Little Red Riding Hood, said he. Thank you kindly, wolf. Whither away so early, Little Red Riding Hood? To my grandmother's. What have you got in your apron? Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, so poor sick grandmother is to have something good to make her stronger. Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Riding Hood? A good quarter of a league farther on in the wood. Her house stands under the 3 large oak trees. The nut trees are just below. You surely must know it, replied Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf thought to himself, what a tender young creature. What a nice, plump mouthful. She will be better to eat than the old woman. I must act craftily, so as to catch both. So he walked for a short time by the side of Little Red Riding Hood. And he said, "See, Little Red Riding Hood, how pretty the flowers are about here. Why do you not look around? I believe, too, that you do not hear how sweetly little birds are singing. You walk gravely along as if you were going to school, while everything else out here in the wood is merry." Little Red Riding Hood raised her eyes, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing here and there through the trees, the pretty flowers growing over her, she thought, "Suppose I take grandmother a fresh nosegay. That would please her too." What kind of flower is that? Like a lily? Or is it a lilac? Wonder what it smells like. It is so early in the day that I shall still get there in good time. And so she ran from the path into the wood to look for flowers, and when she had picked one, she fancied she saw a prettier one further on, and ran after it, and so got deeper and deeper into the wood. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house, and knocked at the door. "Who is there?" "Little Red Riding Hood," replied the wolf. "I have brought cake and wine." "Open the door." "Lift the latch," called out the grandmother. "I am too weak and cannot get up." The wolf lifted the latch. The door. What is the point of having a lock on the door if the person outside the door can unlock it? So there's a picture over here, which is the one from the cover of the book. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have." Look at it back over here. But yeah, what is the point of a lock of a door if you can... Okay, you're thinking too much about this. It's more like just... I don't even think it's... What is even holding this door up in place? Great, now you're criticizing old world houses. I'm just saying, what's the point of the door? What is the point of the fucking latch? Why? What is the... So the wind doesn't move it? At that, like, does Europe have tornadoes? Or is that... I'll look that up after I do the video, or nap, or sleep, whatever, I don't know. Do you guys get tornadoes in England? Or any part of Europe? Is that a thing? What if a hurricane ever hit England? Okay, now you're just scaring the shit out of everyone living in England. I don't control the weather. And if I did, I wouldn't send a hurricane. I'm just saying, what if? Okay, the wolf lifted the latch and the door flew open, and without saying a word, he went straight to the great mother's bed and devoured her. Then he put on her clothes and dressed himself up in her cap, laid himself in bed, and drew the curtains. Little Red Riding Hood, however, had been running about picking flowers, and when she had gathered so many that she could carry no more, she remembered her grandmother and set out on the way to her. She was surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and when she went into the room, she had a strange feeling that she had said to herself, "Oh dear, how uneasy I feel today. Whereas other times I feel like I being grandmother so much." She called out, "Good morning." Why am I now trying to consider how pheromones affect humans? I know we technically don't have a strong of a response to it as animals, but I'm just saying, I know there's certain animals that actually exert pheromones. I mean, even if we're not aware of it. Like there are certain pheromones that there are smells that humans don't smell. But animals are very sensitive to and will react very strongly to. Are there certain animal pheromones that you can release that would elicit different emotional reactions in a human, even if they're not aware of the existence of the pheromone and they can't smell it? Is it possible to have a smell that the human brain cannot detect, to where you're not aware that you're smelling something, but it still has a neurological effect on your brain? At which point, if that were the case, would there be some that would cause fear? Some that would cause, say, paralysis, tiredness, alertness, hysteria, anger, sexual desire, happiness, sadness, hunger, the need to shit? Would there be some that would trigger a human brain to start pumping serotonin or dopamine or oxytocin or endorphins or adrenaline or change blood sugar levels? And if there was such things, could you concentrate them? Would they potentially have devastating... Would pheromones be capable of poisoning somebody? Or being used as a What fucking field of study would this even be? Some sort of biology? That's kind of vague. I'm pretty sure there's probably got to be a scientist out there that is studying like animal pheromones as how it affects human neurochemistry. I'm just saying she's reacting to it, but aside from the fact the door latch is open, there's no reason for her to really expect things to be off. Then again, why doesn't, like, you think, like, granted, I know it's like a Team Rocket disguise with Ash falling for that mistake of just Jesse and James dressing up in the most simplistic of disguises, but Little Red Riding should be able to tell instantly it's not a grandma. I'm just saying, like, and obviously in a horror game, there's certain cues, like ambiance sounds, or, music. But, and of course certain lighting and stuff, but, then again, at this point, are we going to the study of, like, liminal spaces and human reactions to it? Like, some people get claustrophobic or agoraphobic or kinophobic or it's not arachnophobia, that's spiders. What's the one with heights? Arachnas height as spiders. Or I know it starts with an A and it's similar to arachnophobic. It's a fear of heights or something. Which is, like I said, it's a reasonable fear. You fall from high up, you die. So it's a survival instinct thing. But, I don't know. I'm just really tired. But we're almost done with this completely. What? Not even, I switched pages. Oh. Okay. Okay, we're back to this. Okay. Okay. She was surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and when she went into the room, she had such a strange feeling that she had said to herself, "Oh dear, how uneasy I feel today," whereas at other times, I like being with grandmother so much. She called out, "Good morning," but received no answer, so she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother with her cap pulled far over her face, and looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have! The better to hear you with, my child," was the reply. "But, grandmother, what big eyes you have!" She said, "The better to see you with, my dear." "But, grandmother, what large hands you have, the better to hug you with." "Oh, but, grandmother, what terrible big mouth you have, the better to eat you with." And scarcely had the wolf said this, then with one bound he was out of the bed and swallowed up Red Riding Hood. When the wolf had appeased his appetite, he lay down again in the bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loud. The huntsman was just passing the house, and thought to himself, "How the old woman is snoring. I must see if she wants anything." Okay, that's... Is that a thing that was common back then? I don't know. What are the cultural norms of what I assume is like the 13th century? I don't know what year this is, or if this is England. So he went into the room, and then he came to the bed, and he saw the wolf was laying in it. "Do I find thee here, thou old sinner?" said he. "I have long sought thee." And just as he was going to fire at him, it occurred to him the wolf might have devoured the grandmother, and that she might still be saved. So he did not fire, but took a pair of scissors, and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. When he had made 2 snips, he saw Little Red Riding Hood shining, and then he made 2 snips more. And shining? The little girl sprang out, crying, "Ah, how frightened I have been! How dark it was inside the wolf!" And after that, the aged grandmother came out alive also. Okay? I didn't know that the wolf also ate the gum-gum fruit from One Piece, but okay. Also, he's a very deep sleeper. Given all of this, dear God, but scarcely able to breathe. Red Riding Hood, however, quickly fetched great stones, which they filled the wolf's body, and when he awoke, he wanted to run away, but the stones were so heavy that he fell down at once and fell down dead. Again, I feel like he should have died long before this, but okay. It's okay. Then all 3 were delighted. They were just sitting there in chairs watching this. The huntsman drew off the wolf's skin and went home with it. "What about the rest of the body?" The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine, which Red Riding Hood had brought, and revived. But Red Riding Hood had thought to herself, "As long as I live, I will never by myself leave the path to run into the wood where my mother has forbidden me to do so." It is also related that once Red Riding Hood was again taking cakes to old grandmother, another wolf spoke to her and tried to entice her to the path. Red Riding Hood, however, was on her guard, and went straight forward on her way, and told her grandmother that she had met the wolf, and that he had said good morning to her, but with such a wicked look in his eyes, that if they had not been on the public road, she was certain he would have eaten her up. "Well," said the grandmother, "we will shut the door, that he may not come in." Soon afterward the wolf knocked, and he cried, "Open the door, grandmother, I am Little Red Riding Hood, and I am fetching you some cakes." The previous wolf tried this. Do you guys not have like old medieval Twitter? But they did not speak or open the door. So the Greybeard... Okay. So the Greybeard stole twice or thrice round the house. So he circled the house, and at last jumped the roof, intending to wait until they probably put a pot of hot water underneath until Red Riding Hood went home into the evening. Then to steal after her and devour her in the darkness. But the grandmother saw what was in his thoughts. In front of the house was a great stone, though. So she said to the child, "Take the pail, Red Riding Hood. I made some sausages yesterday, so carry the water in which I boiled them to the trough." Red Riding Hood carried until great trough was quite full. Then the smell of the sausages reached the wolf, and he sniffed and peeped down, and at last stretched out his neck far enough that he could no longer keep his footing and began to slip, and slipped down from the roof straight into the great trough, and was drowned. Why would he drown? Did he get a concussion and go unconscious under the water? Then Red Riding Hood went joyously home, and never did anything to harm anyone. What? Okay, first off, what keeps happening to the wolf's bodies? Do we bury them? Do we cut them up? Are we eating them? Is she cooking the wolf bodies and eating them? And what is this last part? What was it saying? Oh, don't look around your grandma's house when you get there. What's that? Let's go back a page and read that. Good morning, and don't peep into every corner before you do it. What the fuck does that mean? And then I went joyously home. And that very last line, and never did anything to harm anyone. Hell, I'm pretty sure there was a one fairy tale in that other book that's over there. That when I read that in the past to myself, one of the stories literally ends. Yeah, like most fairy tales end, they lived happily ever after. The story was everyone was miserable and then they died. But that was the ending. The ending was, oh, this happened, so everyone was miserable and then they all died. That's such a downer. Then again, another one of the stories, it was something like the blue-eared guy who was like getting married and then killing his wives in the basement. It's like, what kind of fairy tale is this? What is the moral lesson? Don't trust people with blue hair? Like, seriously, what the fuck? Though I'm more concerned, how did people have blue hair in medieval era? It's like, how would you color your hair? Like, how would you dye your hair in the past? But I'm just saying, some of those stories, like, what the fuck's happening? But yeah, what is this last line? And never did anything to harm anyone. It's like, obviously you're saying, okay, she lived a peaceful life, but why was it assumed that that was not going to be the default? Like, the statement here implies that there was an implication at some other point that Red Riding Hood was going to be like a fucking serial killer. What? Is it a translation issue or what? Okay, next time on Dragon Ball Z, I read a book without, I think just reading through a fucking table of contents tends to just... Again, there's some things in the stories like what the fuck's happening in the story. Anyway, I'm going to sleep. And I don't know. If anyone's got any advice about... Because I am seeing doctors and stuff. And like, heck, I think on the August 7th I got some testing to do as far as with some of that stuff. And like I said, in October, I got that one thing I have to do. Which sucks, but I have to do it. So, and I've already talked about that. And like I said, at least it's not as bad as what I was originally expecting to have to do. Originally, I was going to have to do medical leave and take 6 weeks off work to recover. But, like I said, doctors were able to look into it more and were able to give me an alternative that's a little bit less invasive. Now, granted, could possibly be fine just taking a few days off work for that. But I'm going to take a whole fucking week off. I have my job, it gives me some sick days, but also gives me some vacation days. With the vacation days, I accidentally bumped the microphone. But the vacation days have to be scheduled in advance and approved. So, but yeah, I'm just going to take a week, and so pretty much almost all my vacation days. Granted, the only reason why I have a few extra more than that is because you get more as longer you stay with the company. But still using just about all of them. I know a couple weeks ago I actually used 2 sick days because on the one hand, I was feeling a bit sick. On the other hand, I just was dealing with some other stuff and I just was not feeling well. And yeah, I just haven't been doing the best. But at least, I think in October, at least it's like a less invasive thing they have to do. It's still going to be horrible. They're still going to have me sedated for like half an hour at least. Maybe like 30 to 40 minutes probably. But, I mean, there's a difference between being sedated 30 to 40 minutes as opposed to being sedated for 3 to 4 hours. Still, it's going to suck. But yeah, like I said, the other thing I would probably have to use medical leave for 6 weeks, but if I can at least do this, then I'll just use a week's worth of vacation and just take a week off so I can recover. As I said, everything about it's fucking shitty. But at least it's less shitty than the alternatives. And, well, it just sucks. I don't know, maybe I'm more out of it because I'm just like, it's getting closer and I'm just... Apparently I'm not emotionally okay for a lot of things. You know, I'm just, I've been depressed for a very long time and, well, there's other stuff been on my mind and physically I've been feeling like shit. But I mean, maybe just, I'm a bit worried about all of that stuff and bothered by it. And maybe in a stress way, maybe that's just been a bit much for me. I don't know. I'm struggling to keep my eyes open. But in the rest of the Grimm fairy tales, I'll try to just read the story and try to focus on the story and try not to talk about anything other than just read the story. But just so tired. Later, everybody.